Real nigga lover?
He's seen your face. That ain't good. You don't want him seeing your face.
Oh, it don't make no difference no more.
Now you know what you're getting into.
Filmklassikeren Mississippi Burning er bygget over autentiske begivenheder i den amerikanske sydstat for 41 år siden.
Right here in the forks of this road is where the murders occurred on the night of June 21st.
3 unge borgerretsforkæmpere blev myrdet med koldt blod.
A charred station wagon in a blackberry thicket at the edge of a swamp. There were no traces of blood or bullet holes. But those who knew Neshoba County knew that the young men would not be found alive.
Well, after the murders occurred, the Klan drove up this road here where a farm pond was being built. And just over the hill around the curve there was where they were buried for 44 days.
The missing men are Andrew Goodman, a 20-year-old college student from New York, James Cheney, 21 years old, of Meridian, Mississippi, and 24-year-old Michael Schwerner of Brooklyn, New York. There is little hope that they are still alive.
The one case, more than any other, that put Mississippi on the map was the Mississippi burning case.
For hovedmanden i sammensværgelsen, Ku Klux Klan-lederen Edgar Ray Killen, er regnskabets time nu endelig kommet. 41 år efter mordene blev den nu 79-årige for nylig arresteret. Stillet over for sigtelserne for tredobbelte mord, var hans eneste kommentar. Velkommen til Udefra. Med arrestationen af Edgar Ray Killen ser det nu ud til, at der kan sættes endelig punktum for en af de mest opsigtsvækkende politiske mordsager i USA's nyere tid. Anklageskriftet bliver lagt frem en af dagene. Retssagen ventes at blive indledt i løbet af de næste uger. Og denne gang ser det ikke ud til, at Killen slipper for domfældelse. Det gjorde han i 1967 på grund af det, der hedder a hang jury, det vil sige, at en eller flere nævninge ikke vil dømme ham. Og en afgørelse skal være enstemmig. En ting er kriminalsagen, noget ganske andet er de dybtgående forandringer i det politiske klima, mordene dengang har medført. Det, som de indblandede betragtede som et lokalt anliggende, blev på kort tid en national og faktisk også en international mærkesag. Den udløste både i USA og i resten af verden en følelse af, at nu kunne det bare være nok. Og dermed kom de oprørende mord til at være slutstreg under et kapitel og begyndelsen til et nyt. Sagen blev en katalysator for de racemæssige og sociale skred, der var i gang, og som forandrede det amerikanske samfund. Vores program i dag sætter dog spørgsmålstegn ved, hvor meget der er sket med mentaliteten i syden, især i Mississippi, i de forløbende godt 40 år. Og her i studiet har jeg Jacob Holdts, forfatter til den berømte og efterhånden klassiske, allerede klassisk kan man sige, bog, Amerikanske billeder. Velkommen til dig.
Tak.
Du kender jo Mississippi som din egen bukselomme og har ovenikøbet været gift med en pige fra den by, hvor det hele foregik, Philadelphia, en lille flække i Mississippi. Hvordan oplevede du den første gang, du var der? Det var i 70'erne.
Ja, det var 10 år efter, men frygten sad jo frygtelig i mig på grund af det. Af 2 grunde, ikke? Dels fordi jeg selvfølgelig kunne huske klanmordene fra medierne, og så fordi jeg havde giftet mig med en sort pige fra byen, ikke? Og derved altså begået den største synd, du kan begå imod sådan en klangruppe, ikke? Race mixing stinks, som de siger. Ikke? Så jeg kom med både frygt og skyldfølelse, det der væv, som normalt karakteriserer hvid racisme, ikke? Blaffende op af Highway 19 ned fra Meridian i Mississippi, ikke? Og jeg har aldrig været så bange i mit liv. Angst er jo noget irrationelt nu. Jeg så dem jo ikke som mennesker. Klanen var jo bare sådan noget mystisk noget, ikke? Ligesom det er for de fleste mennesker. Ikke? Og det er først siden, jeg begyndte at beskæftige mig med dem. Ikke? Men der skete selvfølgelig ikke noget, og jeg kom op for at besøge min familie, der min kone, ekskone, turde ikke at tage med. Hun var selv blevet havde forladt byen mange år før, ikke? Fordi hun er den første sort, der integrerede, eller brugte det hvide bibliotek midt i byen. Ikke? Så, og det blev, jeg havde faktisk en vidunderlig tid i byen, ikke? Jeg kom ikke utrolig meget i kontakt med de hvide, men snakkede med mange. Og så de der gamle klanmordere, som jo gik på fri fod, ikke? Og som jo i flere tilfælde havde leget med min kone i barndommen, ikke? Fordi de kom fra den forkerte side af jernbanelinjen, der hvor de allerfattigste hvide kom, og kommer fra og bor sammen med de sorte, ikke? Og det er der så meget klanen selv kommer fra. Så,
altså fra nogle sociale frustrationer, kan man sige.
Ja, og det har jeg jo så beskæftiget mig meget med sidenhen, ikke? Og så vil jeg sige, under opklaringen af det her, hvor kilden nu er blevet bragt, ikke? Ham, der har virkelig ført opklaringen, Jerry Mitchell, han har faktisk e-mailet en del med mig. Jeg så ham lige for et øjeblik siden, netop for at finde alle mulige ting frem, som jeg kunne huske fra den tid. Okay. Ikke? Så.
Vi taler videre om begivenhederne og om, hvordan situationen er i dag, efter vores program, der er lavet af det kanadiske CBC.
Face down beneath 20 feet of red clay in a newly built coffer dam were the remains of the 3 young men who had come to Mississippi to teach Negroes how to register to vote.
I don't really believe that there's been a single day that I haven't thought some way about this case. It was just about the most horrendous case. I always call it the high water mark of resistance to change that occurred. There were a lot of atrocities all over the South in the 60s, but this thing was planned. There was a conspiracy of silence afterwards, and there was a lot of mystery connected with it. Will they find the bodies? Will they find the bodies?
They were doing an autopsy of James Chaney, and compared to the other 2, I mean, his body's in far worse shape. Both of his arms, the autopsy shows that both of his arms were broken. But it's very obvious that his body was treated differently than the other 2 civil rights workers for whatever reason. Or she can't help but think that because he was the only black civil rights workers, that may well have been the reason.
And you wonder how civilized people can do something like that and feel justified. That's the evil thing about it. They feel justified in what they did. And they were able to do that because we let them do it. People who didn't agree with that sort of thing and wouldn't have ever done anything like that just sat back and kept quiet.
Mississippi is the last bastion of segregation. It is a state where every lawmaking and law-enforcing body is in the hands of men dedicated to the upholding and enforcing of white supremacy by any necessary means, where 119 uppity Negroes were lynched in the 1930s, where Emmett Till, Mac Parker, and Medgar Evers died violent deaths, where police and highway patrolmen are members of the Ku Klux Klan. And for those who oppose the system, the nights are often lit by violence. The white Mississippians' hatred of race mixing is based not only on the fear of miscegenation, but on the fear of a political revolution. Negroes in that state constitute 42% of the population. In some counties, Negroes outnumber whites. 4 out of every 10 Mississippians are Negro, yet only 1 in 80 is able to vote. If the Negroes were to obtain equal voting rights, they could control Mississippi. This is the Southern white man's fear, equality for Negroes. And this was the chief objective of 800 students from colleges across the country who joined COFO, the Council of Federated Organizations, to help crack Mississippi.
sleeping on the floor all the time. That nigga ain't helping no one.
Why you sleep with him?
Hey, get that son of a bitch. Hey, go put him to the phone to the guy. Go through the house. Hey, go. Get on top of him, nigga. You like to be, ain't it? Get on. There you go. Throw them two together.
You don't look like nothing but a damn prostitute.
That's right, prostitute. That's it.
The long, hot summer began here, learning from those who had been to Mississippi what it would be like and how to prepare for it.
The National Democratic Convention was around the corner, and scheduled in 1964 in Atlantic City. And so here was a good opportunity to really bring attention to what was going on. So we decided that we needed more than just us, the bodies that we had. So how can we get more people in? And then to bring in the students, especially white students, will bring in a lot of attention because people were going to follow them. They weren't following the black people coming down. So you had to bring attention to this whole issue.
The police are going to harass you. They're going to pick you up on the road. They're going to put trumped-up charges on you. You're going to wind up in jail. There's no doubt about it. So you need to know these things just as much as the people who left last week for voter registration. And another thing, I suggest we be a little more serious about this thing. I know it don't even seem real to you now, but it will when you go down to Mississippi.
We knew that it was not going to be easy. We figured that there would be some people who would die, and we didn't know who. We just knew it would be somebody, because that's the nature of what we were doing. The resistance was just that great.
Here on the gentle campus of a woman's college in Oxford, Ohio, the Mississippi Summer Project began. The students are volunteers, giving up their summer vacations to work for something they believe in. On their first day in Ohio, they learned that 3 who had preceded them to Mississippi just 2 days before had already paid for the adventure with their lives. The names of the 3 were Cheney, Goodman, and Schwerner.
When they left early and the word came to us that they were missing, I had no doubt that they were dead. That was the first thing I said. I said, if they're missing, they're dead, because based on how the Klan, the Citizen Council, and white people who are opposing you in Mississippi operate, if they apprehend you and take you that way, then they go ahead and finish you off and kill you.
A black man who is dissatisfied, a black man who is disillusioned, a black man whose patience has run out, and a black man who is as angry as he can get with the white man, and has reason to be.
Non-violence is the answer. And that violence is wrong, whether it's violence of Negroes against white people, a violence of white people against Negroes, a violence of Negroes against other Negroes. All violence is wrong, it is immoral, and it is impractical.
20 million black people in this country have been like boys in the white man's house. He even calls us boys. Don't care how big you get, he calls you boy. You can be a professor. To him, you're just another boy.
What's eventually obviously going to happen, the White Power structure is going to say either, look, we have had enough. Now, what is it that you people really want? Or else they're going to attempt to march us off to the concentration camp.
Mississippi, the Magnolia State, celebrated by Mark Twain and William Faulkner, home state of Jefferson Davis, scrub pine and mimosa, katydids, and pleasant country towns. But this summer, Mississippi waited tense and hostile as more students invaded its borders.
No picture.
Have you seen the spot down here, sir?
That's right.
What do you think of this?
I believe them jokers planned and sitting off up there in New York laughing at us Mississippi folks.
I feel sorry for if they were killed, but I think they were asking for it.
I agree with that. Viewed the spot down here. Can you tell me what you think of this whole thing?
Well, I believe it's a big publicity hoax, but
If they're dead, I feel like they asked for it.
Well, I
Get
can't
all
deny
this
that.
damn mess out. And keep it out. We have a law here to go by. And the law enforcement is not going to purge themselves by not for not enforcing it. They are going to enforce it.
Yeah, just think about who this man is. I mean, look at him. These are the real Americans. Here we have an invasion of this state in the 60s. And we had people that were vigilantes, guerrilla warriors, insurgents, if you will. Goodman, Cheney, Schwerner were communists, and what they want, essentially, and to some extent we have now, wherever there would be Americans, they wanted to put Negroes.
If you can't do for yourself what the white man is doing for himself, don't say you're equal with the white man. That's right.
They simply wanted to make the southern United States, perhaps the entire United States, part of Africa. It could be called insurrection. It could be called trying to overthrow the government.
They got no business. They got no business here.
Their business for the summer volunteers was to combat 100 years of discrimination, intimidation, subservience, and ignorance.
Negroes are generally inferior to whites as it stands now. There's no getting around that. They don't have the intelligence yet that the white man has.
The lowest white man now is above the Negro.
Well, I do the radius over here, collect the tickets so the little kids can get on and have fun. Well, this is like my 3rd year working here in the Shelby County Fairground.
Oh, this is for picking up the trash in the bathroom so we don't have to touch it with our hands.
Describe yourself as compassionate, motivated, and unique.
Today's Mississippi is different in that you still can go, they don't have any black and white bathroom, but there are still sophisticated discrimination.
Everybody still sees color, and I don't think it should be like that.
But it says it's a Southern thing. Y'all wouldn't understand.
We have black friends, white friends, Indian friends, Hispanic friends. Because we have a restaurant, we employ all the different types of folks. There is no color in mine and my husband. We don't see color.
First of all, let's recognize it'd be just crazy to say that there's been no progress, that the deaths of these 3 young kids meant nothing, because it meant a great deal, and it changed a lot. But it didn't change everything.
While I'm being arrested for pointing a handgun at a police officer, 2 Negroes are shooting Harry McGuffey in the head 4 times, not 2 miles from where I live in Rankin County. These are crimes that are not committed against Negroes. These are crimes that Negroes exclusively commit against whites. And yet all we hear is Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney. The jungle does not wash out.
We made a lot of gains in the 60s, and even before the 60s, some gains were made. But all the gains we have made will be for naught if we don't fight to keep this door open. We cannot allow white supremacy to reign again.
Well, if it takes 100 years, we have to begin somewhere. The man who moved the mountain started by taking away a shovelful at a time. I can't throw up my hands to the system. I don't care how long it takes. And if I don't realize it, then maybe my children. If my children don't, then maybe my children's children will.
We cannot go back to the time when we're not allowed to vote.
They want to know you registered to vote. To do what?
To vote.
vote?
I vote because I'm supposed to vote. I'm an American citizen, and other than that, I don't feel like my vote or no other black man vote count.
I don't vote, no.
You don't vote? Why not? Why not?
The majority of people in this country who are the power base are white males. That's who runs the country. They're the ones who have all of the top positions in this country. They're the ones who call the shots, if you will.
What's the significance of the black vote in the upcoming election?
Oh, it's always significant. Good seeing you.
When we look at the presidency, we've not had a minority president, not a black or African American or any other minority group, nor a woman. So we know and we understand what it means when we say white supremacy reigns.
I say they are not our equals. They never will be our equal. God himself realized that the black race would never be equal to that of the white race.
The song that was the hallmark of the Southern and Confederate cause, the Bonnie Blue Flag, was actually written here in Jackson. And you've asked me to sing something. I'm not much of a singer, but it goes, "We are a band of brothers, native to the soil, fighting for the way of life we earned by honest toil. And when our rights were threatened, the call went near and far. Hurrah for the bonnie blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah for Southern rights, hurrah. Hurrah for the bonnie blue flag that bears a single star." And that star to me is one of the stars in that greatest of all flags, the Stars and Stripes.
Too many people have died, too many people have made sacrifices of us to stay here. If you're not registered, you need to get registered to vote because too many people have risked their lives for this freedom that we enjoy.
Nobody's been tried for murder and 3 people were killed.
The actual charge was violation of the murder victim's federal civil rights. Raspberry is correct. The state never filed murder charges in the case.
We were lucky, I think, to get a conviction out of 7 of them because they were all white people and all of us around, well, they were from all over the state of Mississippi, really.
And there's one major culprit, at least still out there, Edgar Ray Killen, who was the person who was actually said, let's kill these guys.
We're coming up on the home of Edgar Ray Killen, well known in this case. That's it right there. Cluttered looking, isn't it? They have a front side and a back side, light and dark side and a light side. Sounds schizophrenic, doesn't it? Maybe it is. Told somebody that the morning after the killing, he went around there, and his home is not far from where the murders occurred. But he went around and made sure there were no shell casings or anything, any kind of evidence left on the ground.
Yeah, here's when I was up with Brother Killen recently. In fact, I asked him at the time, I said, what do you think about the chances of integration and communism actually being defeated. Payday is coming. And that's what he thinks, and I do as well, that eventually, just like the Berlin Wall, it's going to fall.
My husband is innocent, and I wish everybody just let him alone. I think that if it was going to be anything done, it ought to have been done 40 years ago. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to hang up.
I believe that the race relations here are as good or better than anywhere.
When I retired, my supervisor was a colored fella. And I didn't pay it no mind. Just like I didn't ever notice him, he didn't ever notice me, and I didn't, just like it always did. It wasn't no problem.
Both of us have good friends that are Black Americans.
You know, life is unfair with the way we be treated because of our skin color. We all the same, we just got a different skin color, that's all. We all the same. It don't matter what color your skin is, if anyone else get a cut, black or white, you gonna bleed the same. You gonna bleed the same. Yeah.
So you guys feel like there's still a lot of racism now?
Yeah. It's not as bad as it was back then, but it still is. I mean, not just in the Neshoba County, but everywhere.
You will see a lot of kids like that. They don't even know what racism is. They're just friends. And so they're very comfortable with each other. And that's something that prior generations that we belong to, it's just not the case, you know, because we have baggage.
I guess everybody up north thought we were mistreating people down here, and that was a misconception. We were not mistreating people down here, and they still think we do. But that goes back 150 years ago, you know, 141 years ago and all. But no, we treat people like we want to be treated down here, and we don't. The racism thing is gone with the wind. It's not here anymore.
The Klanmen did a march around the courthouse, Neshoba County Courthouse, 2004.
How many people were in that march?
There's a good many. I didn't go to town, but I didn't want to go to town because I didn't see it. And it make me mad.
The principles of the Klan is based on Americanism, the Christian faith, the upholding of law and order, which many times that has been questioned.
You notice the skinhead guy who is part of the current American Revolution, and back then it was the fight against the tyranny of the king. Today it's the fight against the tyranny of Martin Luther King.
Talk about terror.
Let the Indians have their tribes. Let the Negroes have their hoods, if you will. But let us have our homes.
People have been terrorized. No food on my table. Don't do that. No shoes. Go on my children's feet. I worked hard from the hayfield all the way to the cotton field. No money in my pocket. Now you talk about terror. I tell you talk about terror. People, what about for me? I've been terrorized. I said I've been terrorized all my days.
There is great frustration among the poorer people because in spite of all of the talk about civil rights and about freedom, they are precisely where they were before the civil rights so-called revolution began.
Now, on the question of desegregation, I think within 10 or 15 years, we will achieve desegregation. We will break down the legal barriers in almost all areas, except in the most remote situations. Now, when we think in terms of integration, which is genuine intergroup, interpersonal living, that will take longer. I think, however, before the turn of the century, we will have moved a great deal toward an integrated society.
We don't feel that integration is necessary nor desirable.
Well, everything now is colored. It's all integrated now. All but the churches now. I don't think the churches in Clark County are integrated so far.
Why not?
So I don't believe they'll ever come down to churches because they don't worship like we do, really.
So far astray, I'm blind today, and the blood that stains the old rugged cross.
It would not be safe for our little girls to go to school with the colored children until the morality and the standards can be changed and brought up by the niggers themselves. We would not stand for our little white children to associate with them on the social or school level.
That when school integration came in 1970, it was very peaceful, and there was not a single incident. There was a lot of media here waiting to record what the big blow-up that was going to come, but there wasn't a single violent incident, and I really believe it was as smooth as it was because of what had happened here in '64.
Here we go, and 1, 2, a big sound.
In the South, Mississippi, and other places across this country right now is that the majority of the kids in the public school system are African American of children of color, although they do not make up the majority in our population. So where are these other kids?
Some of the schools are integrated, some are still segregated. For the most part, most of the whites still will not send their children to schools that has a higher percentage of black. If the percentage of black in the school gets beyond 25%, generally you find most all of the white students going to an academy, which is basically all white.
I think the real problem here in the South, and what the white people here are afraid of, is intermarriage. I think the whole problem is a sex problem.
Yeah, we have a lot of mixed couples here now. It's, of course, I don't particularly, I think you're supposed to stay with your own race, basically, but evidently that doesn't hold. We see a lot of young white girls with these black guys here. It's kind of disgusting, you know, in a way. But if each to their own, if that's what they want to do, as long as they don't bother me, you know, I don't care.
People in Mississippi know the attitude and the mentality that exists says no to this, and most people are afraid and unwilling to step across the line.
I don't agree with that, but...
Don't agree with what?
With interracial marriages. Can I take that off?
Yeah.
It's kind of falling.
I got a white friend girl, you know what I'm saying? I go up to their house about every weekend. I ain't got no problem with white, black, Choctaw.
I want to stick with my color. I mean, I don't have nothing against the white brother or the white lady or nothing, but, you know, I think he done fit too well. I feel better with my color, you know. I wouldn't get the same feeling that I got if I had the white woman than I would have had the black lady. Follow me? Excuse me for saying it like that.
Oh, I think interracial racialism is fine. With me, I've dated out of my race. I've dated, you know, and I think it's fine. But there's some people here that don't think so. So, you know, you have to be careful. It's probably not wise to do it, still not wise to do it in Mississippi.
My dear sir, all you have to do is take the purest white paint or white color of any kind and put one dab of any other color in it, and you have besmirched it and besmudged it. One drop of blood in a white man's veins does not create another white man, nor can it. You've darkened the shade of white.
Every race has their own culture, and to put them together confuses an offspring. Now, my children go to school with many interracial children, and they don't know what to put down when they're asked.
They have to check the other block.
They have to check an other, and that makes a child confused.
Am I white, am I black, am I both?
And they really don't know. And I think that's hard on the children.
If the mother's black, the child goes to the black family reunion, they gonna look at the child strange. And if the child goes to a white family reunion, they gonna look at the child strange. You know, because it's me.
You gonna get it either way you go.
I mean, you still gonna get it either way you go.
What's the it?
You gonna still get the same look and the same thought, racial remarks from everybody's point of view, you know.
You know, cause white, you call brown. I'm white. Brown.
Like your daddy.
Look what color. That's called brown. No. Yes, white.
It is.
White. Oh, right, no.
One of the songs that I like to sing, and especially like to get young people involved in, especially young people in conjunction with older people, is the song that we sang 40-something years ago that helped us to overcome fear. Fear is still very prevalent, and just as this song helped us to overcome fear then, it helped people to overcome fear today. Ain't scared of nobody, 'cause I want my freedom, I want my freedom, I want my freedom. Ain't scared of nobody, 'cause I want my freedom, I want my freedom now. I'll organize, 'cause I want my freedom, I want my freedom, I want my freedom. Ain't scared of nobody, 'cause I want my freedom, I want my freedom now.
Mrs. Goodman, mother of Andy.
His death is hurtful, terribly hurtful. I can't know whether he had to die. Are you saying had to die for this to happen?
Rita Schwerner, wife of Mickey.
All my life I've been afraid of more things than Mickey was. And in a very selfish way, I was afraid that something would happen to him, because if something happened to him, what would I do? I was loving him very much. I was very dependent upon him. I think he, on the other hand, seemed worried about if something happened to him, what would I do? We hadn't discussed it a lot. We were aware of the possibility. And it influenced our relationship. In some ways, I think it made a very strong relationship, because we knew we'd better make the best of it now, because it might not be a marriage that was going to last for 50 years. So the time we had together was good. It was very short.
Mrs. Cheney, mother of James.
What happened and what I'm talking about, it's no secret. And I ain't got nothing to hide. I mean, I just like to talk about it, because, see, my son is gone. And sometimes if I don't talk with somebody, I just feel just like I'm just going up. I mean, I'm not trying to publish one thing. But what's happened is happened. What's done is done. If it hadn't been for Mickey Swanner and Andrew Goodman, and regardless what I done or what I said, that I don't believe that my son wouldn't have been known, wouldn't have been found today. Nobody would have just went on. They would have never known nothing happened.
It's been a long time.
What do you think?
What do I think? The memories I have that are most enduring during that period was the agony that my mother went through. From the moment she found out he was missing, she didn't get no rest. She would clean up the house 2 or 3 times a day from top to bottom.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
I love that song. It was written by a slave trader. The guy was involved in the slave trade. And he finally realized how lost he was. He became a Christian. And of course, I'm a Christian. And he wrote that song. That was a song about being forgiven. And, you know, isn't that really what redemption's all about, you know?
People want to see justice done in this case because we know it was wrong, and we know that it should have been prosecuted back then. But today we're going to do everything that we possibly can to make sure that every stone is turned and we get every piece of evidence available. And if we can prosecute, we're going to put it on. And if we can't, we're going to tell people that this is why, and open the files and for everyone to see every statement that was given in this case.
If it was up to me, you know what I'm saying, I'd leave it alone because it's been so long. They should have did something earlier about it.
Why leave it alone? Why they already done brought it back up? They might well go ahead and retrial it. Yeah. They brought it up. They ain't gonna retry it. They just brought it up for nothing.
But look how long it's been though.
It don't matter. You done killed 3 people. You should be retried for that.
If it was some black folks killing, we'd have got the legislature. Stuff like that. I think that's murder. That was murder.
You know, I'm not over-eagerly optimistic about what will come from this, but I'm hoping.
Oh God, we pray thee to take care of them, give them courage and not become discouraged with discouraging surroundings. But equally we pray to every task, make them more than a match for despondence. Give them hope beyond these days of struggle that they may fight on. As the great poet said, my soul till death. Amen. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall
I was a handsome kid. You know, I don't remember too much. Maybe I don't want to remember.
They asked me to speak at the memorial services. So I've been asked by some of the people in the civil rights movement, leadership is that, you know, and the families to come to say, keep it quiet and you know, low-key. And I had decided to do that. But then when I got up there to talk, I sort of looked out and I looked at the face of people, especially little Ben Cheney, his mother was. And I decided that this was not the time to be quiet, you know.
You see, I know what's going to happen. I feel it deep in my heart when they find the people who killed those guys in Neshoba County. You got to come back to the state of Mississippi and have a jury, all their cousins, their aunts, their uncles. And I know what they're going to say, not guilty, because no one saw them pull the trigger. I'm tired of that. Don't bow down anymore. Hold your heads up. We want our freedom now. I don't want to have to go to another memorial. I'm tired of funerals. I'm tired of it. You've got to stand up.
Here we go, right here, where the murders occurred. And Mr. Killen has to come by here every day when he goes to town. But he denies any involvement in this. Of course, nobody believes him. Wouldn't you like to have a recording apparatus that could record his thoughts? See what he thinks every time he goes by here. Not that it'd be worth anything.
Ain't gonna let nobody, Lord, turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody, Lord, turn me around. Well, I keep on.
Mr. Kelly, you have any comments, sir? You have anything to say, sir? Any comments?
And Greg Killing to the charge of count 1, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
And to the charge of count 2, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
And to the count 3, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Ain't gonna let Mississippi, Lord, turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let Mississippi, Lord, turn me around. Well, I keep on walking, I keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
Du kommer lige fra Mississippi, så at sige. Hvordan vurderer du situationen i dag sammenlignet med, da du gik op ad gaden første gang og var skræmt for at blive sendt?
Hvad skal vi sige? Racismen er blevet værre, men de racistiske holdninger er ikke så slemme som dengang.
Hvad vil det sige?
Ja, altså racisme, det handler om, hvordan man skubber en gruppe ud af samfundet på forskellige måder, ghettoiserer dem osv., ikke? Og det kan man sagtens gøre i dag på en helt anden måde ved at tale pænt, ikke? Altså man taler jo på en helt anden måde om sorte i dag, også i den by, ikke? Men altså som udsendelsen jo sagde klart, ikke, så er forholdene jo ikke forbedret, ikke? Det der skete efter borgerretskampen, som resultat af borgerretskampen, ikke, så steg de sortes andel af indtægterne fra 45% og på nationalplan op til 55% af de hvides gennemsnitsindtægt. Ikke? I Mississippi er den så åbenbart kun kommet op på 50%. Så der har været en stigning på 5%, ikke? Men i mellemtiden, siden jeg rejste i 70'erne, en anden statistik, som jeg har fra PBS, den viser, at dengang var de hvide i gennemsnit 4 gange så rige som de sorte. Ikke? I dag er de 7 gange så rige som de sorte, efter hvor meget man ejer. Ikke? Og det er jo blandt andet et resultat af racismen, ikke? Redlining, alle de der mærkelige måder, vi er ubevidst, og jeg siger vi, fordi vi gør jo det samme i Danmark for tiden med indvandrere, ikke? Flytter vores børn ud af skolerne. Ikke? I 70'erne, der var der for eksempel meget stor integration i skolerne mellem de sorte og de hvide. I dag
er de bedre stillede hvide jo for længst flyttet ud af skolerne. De går i privatskoler, ikke? Så når der kommer mere end 20% sorte ind i en klasse, ikke, eller en skole, eller indvandrere for den sags skyld i Danmark, ikke, ja, så flytter de bedre stille deres børn ud. Ikke? Når der kommer flere end 20% sorte ind i et kvarter, ikke, så begynder de hvide at flygte, ikke? Nøjagtigt som vi ser det i Danmark i dag. Ikke? Og det er jo ikke Ku Klux Klan, der skaber den smerte i de sorte. Hele tiden at føle sig afvist, hele tiden at føle sig forkert, at der er noget galt med dem, ikke? Og det er jo den indvendiggørelse der, ikke? At der er noget galt med os, som gør, at de bliver selvdestruktive, de sorte. Og derfor volden, som jeg har oplevet netop i Mississippi, flere af dem, jeg har fotograferet i min bog fra den by her, ikke? De er blevet myrdet siden dengang, og talrige andre sidder i fængsel, ikke? Og det er faktisk det samme for de Ku Klux Klan, ikke? Fordi dem har jeg også fulgt nu igennem nogle år, og de kommer typisk for de samme fattige, hvide kvarterer, ikke? Og har den samme selvdestruktion. Og jeg plejede, nu har jeg været en del i 2 store klangrupper i de sidste par år, og der oplever jeg med det samme, jamen den racisme, som jeg troede var i Ku Klux Klan, den er der ikke. De er ikke særlig racist, de er ikke spor anderledes end os andre, ikke? Det handler om noget helt andet, ikke? Og derfor tænkte jeg, men så er de i hvert fald anderledes end den historiske klan, som vi kender fra Mississippi Burning, ikke? Men jeg er på det seneste begyndt at nærlæse nogle af de gamle domme i New York Times over klanlederne, eller klanfolkene, der blev dømt senere, ikke? Og der går det i stigende grad op for mig, at klanen dengang var jo fuldstændig som klanen i dag, ikke? Så nogle fortabte losers, ikke? Fordrukne nogen i reglen, ikke? Og som hele tiden snubler over deres egen vildt.
Altså mange fra socialt dårlige kår.
Simpelthen. Og netop i den by her, ikke, Philadelphia, Mississippi, hvor min kone, hun legede med 2 af dem, som blev dømt, Jimmy Wayne Posey og Cecil Price, ikke? De kom fra hendes kvarter på den forkerte side af jernbanelinjen, hvor jeg fotograferede alle mine værste billeder. Ja. Og de kastede med sten efter hinanden i barndommen, ikke? Men de legede også sammen, ikke? Og det jeg oplever typisk for klanmedlemmerne i dag, såvel som tror jeg dengang, det er meget, meget ydmygende at komme derover fra Niggertown, ikke? I deres egen bevidsthed. Og det selvhad, plus det, at de havde jo kun sorte skolekammerater, men de må ikke, det snakker de om den dag i dag, ikke? De unge klanfolk i dag, ikke? De måtte ikke i deres barndom tage deres sorte skolekammerater med hjem, fordi deres far var racist eller Ku Klux Klan og ikke ville have sådan nogle kriminelle eller narkomaner inden for sine døre, ikke? Smertens børn, og det er jo det, der sker med udstødte, ikke? Det er jo ikke Guds bedste børn, ikke? Så derfor, det er en dyb smerte for dem, kan jeg se i Ku Klux Klan, at de ikke må tage deres egne skolekammerater med hjem, ikke? Nogle reagerer så ved at gå imod deres forældre, ikke? Og nogle reagerer sidenhen ved at falde i hak med deres racistiske forældre, ikke?
Du siger, at tankegodset i Ku Klux Klan er det samme i dag, som det var dengang, og samtidig siger du, at det ikke er der, racismen ligger.
Nej, ikke tankegodset, fordi det var nok mere racistisk dengang. Ja. Ikke? Altså det værste, du hører klanen sige i dag, de siger ikke nigger for det meste, ikke? De siger narkotika og kriminalitet, ikke? Men det er jo det samme, Pia Kjærsgaard siger om indvandrerne, ikke? Altså alt det, du forbinder med de sorte, ikke? Så de behøver ikke det er ikke politisk korrekt i dag at tale nedsættende om sorte i USA, så det gør klanen heller ikke. De kan godt gøre det lidt om indvandrere, aldrig muslimer, ikke? Men om indvandrere, det kender vi også fra Danmark, ikke? Og det, de vil sige typisk, det er equal rights for all, special rights for none, ikke? Altså ingen særrettigheder for de sorte, ikke? Hvis jeg vender spørgsmålet om, hvis I som fattige hvide synes I ikke, I har behov for lidt støtte og så videre, ikke? Og hvis så de der særrettigheder også var for jer som klasse, jamen så er de der selvfølgelig for. Men så længe de ser det bare som de sorte, dem som de konkurrerer med de der laveste jobs om, ikke? Så har de jo så lidt imod det, ikke? Men de har ikke noget mod sorte, ikke? Jeg oplever, at Ku Klux Klan i dag, og det tror jeg faktisk også dengang, have flere sorte venner end de fleste hvide i USA, og langt flere sorte venner.
Det vender jo lidt op og ned på vores billede.
Jo, det håber jeg, det gør, fordi jeg håber ikke, at jeg hører til dem, der sælger had over for Ku Klux Klan. Jeg prøver altid at få folk til at forstå, hvad er det, der motiverer. Jeg oplever ikke klanen som hadfuld.
Ja, til sidst, hvordan tror du, at sagen mod Killen vil påvirke situationen i...
Altså, jeg er ked af, at det er blevet til en sag. Jeg vil hellere have, at de laver noget, som i Sydafrika, sandhedskommission, ikke? Fordi det er jo noget historisk noget, de ripper op i, ikke? Og vi kan jo se med det, de siger i filmen, ikke? At de har jo ikke lært meget bedre end at skydes mod hinanden, ikke? Det, der er brug for, sådan en stakkels gammel mand, ikke? I en sandhedskommission, og få så nogle af offerne, eller især de der indbyggere i byen, ikke? I en dialog, og der vil komme utrolige ting ud af det, ikke? Hvor det går op for dem, jamen vi er begge to ofre for et fantastisk racistisk klassesystem, som bare hele tiden...
Som vi påvirker fra vores forældre og bedsteforældre, eller hvad?
Ja, og Ku Klux Klan dengang, de handlede jo politisk korrekt dengang også, ikke? Fordi alle de hvide var jo imod. Alle de hvide i sydstaten var imod, at de nordstaterne kom her og blandede sig, ikke? Det jeg oplever i dag, når jeg har college-professorer i nordstaten, der henter mig, og vi snakker i bilen, ikke? Og de har set mit show, ikke? Så siger jeg, i dag forstår de ikke, hvad der gik af dem, ikke? De voksede op i sydstaten, og de følte jo ligesom alle andre, at det var forkert, at de der borgerretsforkæmpere kom op nordfra. I dag kan de se, at de var forkert på den, ikke? Men de var jo hjernevask, ikke? Og det var i det klima, Ku Klux Klan opererede, ikke? Og så er det sådan nogle fordrukne fyre, de går bare lige sådan en tand værre, ikke? Det vil svare til, at vi i Danmark lagde skylden for den manglende integration på nazistpartiet nede i Greve, ikke? I stedet for at se lidt dybere ind i os selv, ikke?
Ja, det bliver jo spændende at se, hvordan sagen mod Geden spænder af. Den begynder her sidst på måneden. Tak fordi du kom. Ja. Det var så udefra for i dag. Vi er tilbage igen i næste uge, samme tid og samme sted. Tak for nu, og på gensyn.